Hi everybody, this is Russ Folkman from Wetsuit Survival. Okay, this is video 2 on making fire. Right now what I've got here is a fire lay. So I've laid out my materials that I'm going to need to make the fire. Alright, so I'll kind of go through what I've done here. Alright, in the top left corner here is, this is sometimes called straw wood. It's because it's not much bigger than a size of straw. You're going to want a lot of this. You're going to want to find this, also, like I discussed in the first video, dead and down. It's a little hard to find this time of year because a lot of little branches look like this when they don't have leaves on them. In the summertime, it's really easy because these will have little leaves on them, and the ones that don't are dead. So the best way to go about doing this is just when you walk around in the woods is just kind of bend and snap. If they snap off readily, they're probably dead. Or if you find them on the ground, they're going to be dead. But a lot of times with saplings, you can't tell because they could be laying kind of sticking out of the ground, or they could be growing out of the ground. Anyway, just test them. If they bend, they're probably still green. If they snap off, they're dry and they're ready to burn. These are all pretty much snappy little straw wood pieces. You're going to need plenty of this because this will burn really fast when we get it going. So you're going to want a decent little pile of that, because once you run out of that, you're not going to have time to turn around in your little camp area and go get more. All right, next is kind of about the size of a pencil, or a little bit smaller than a pencil. I don't know if it has a name or not. It's not as cool as straw wood, but it's like smallish pencil wood. So you're going to want the next size up. And then up here is about the size of a small, like a kid's finger, like squaw finger or something like that, I think is what some people call it. A mistake that a lot of people make, like my students in my survival classes, they go from this to this, and that's too small to catch this on fire. There's not enough flame and not enough heat going from that to get this on fire. So that burns out, this just smolders, and they need to go from here to here to here. And actually, I would say to go from here to something like this size, and then to something, that size. It just kind of needs to transition into the next size. And then from there, you can go something my size of my pinky, and then something the size of that big around in my wrist, and then so on and so on. So you're throwing logs on the fire at night to sustain it. All right. How I've set up my fire here is a cabin. I used to be a big teepee guy. That would mean all the little sticks were stacked up like that. But it was kind of hard to stick all the tinder in there, and once it got going, or to light it on fire with anything other than, say, a match, where you could stick it in almost lighting a pilot light. That works great in a teepee, but if you're trying to throw sparks in, it's a little harder, and it all can kind of get knocked down. So I've gone with a cabin kind of style for years now. It works well. And what I have in here is just kind of a mixed bag of tinder. The crown jewel here is a piece of cotton ball with petroleum jelly in it, or Vaseline. And it's crucial that you use real cotton for the cotton ball, and not the polyester kind. Then around it is some milkweed fluff, some cottonwood seed ball fluff. Here's some river birch. Here's some white birch. Stuff burns really great. And then there's some leaves. And down in here is some kind of shredded up wood. It's called Excelsior, and you can buy it in hobby stores. So that's the only thing that's kind of commercially available. It's actually shredded wood, and it catches kind of nice. But my goal here is to throw a spark into the cotton ball, which will flame up and burn. It'll kind of catch this stuff on fire. That'll give me a second or two to grab some of my straw wood and just kind of toss it on top. Now, once that gets going, I'm going to feed it a little bit more straw wood to kind of maintain it. I'm going to start feeding in some of this other stuff, and then I'll put on some of the larger things. As it kind of burns, it'll eventually consume the cabin around it. Underneath, you'll notice all of this is, you might not be able to see it, but it's sitting on a platform of wood. This ground is kind of wet and squishy. I don't really want to start my fire on wet ground. This is useful if you're in a swamp or if you're on snow or really wet ground. Having cold, wet ground is going to kind of suck the heart out of the fire. You want to kind of keep it up. That little raft, that base, will eventually be consumed in the fire. I don't have them jammed tight together. They're kind of like a grill, so air will go through there and up through the bottom and help give those part of the three components of a fire: fuel, a heat source, and some air. So, all right, let's give it a go. See if I can get this Jesse going. Hey, look at that. It's going. All right, so I want a little bit of this here on top to kind of see if I can catch some wood on fire. And you can see it's windy, which is nice, which is helpful. Get things going. And it's starting to smell like a wood fire. It's crackling like a wood fire. And this is mostly maple, I think I'm throwing on here. A little tiny bit of oak, but it's mostly maple and some other unidentified wood that I couldn't tell what the heck it was. Alright, I might be a little bold here and start throwing on something that side. That's a little piece of oak. Let's see if I can get some of this stuff caught. That's another piece of straw wood. You can see how fast that stuff burns. You don't have a lot of time to dink around get this thing going. If you screw this up, you're going to have to start over. You won't even really have a good bed of coals to go with. You see that's dying down in there pretty quickly. This is being consumed. All those little straw woods are turning into a little piece of coal. And the wind is kicking up pretty good here. And it can be a help or a hindrance. It's providing the needed air that we talked about in the first video. But it's also making my work go a lot quicker. It's making me have to react a lot quicker. These young fires need nurtured like anything that's young. It needs nurtured and close attention. You can't turn your back on for very long before it'll disappoint you and go out. So it takes a little bit of TLC to get going. And you can see I've about reached the end of my straw wood. I'm scraping around for little bits and pieces here. But that's kind of it. It'll go now. I got enough flame that it'll catch this stuff and be sustainable now. I wouldn't have to fight this and sweat it. You can see that's a nice flame there. So I would call that mission success as far as getting a fire going. It'd be kind of hard for it to go out now. This would actually be sustainable in a light rain if you needed to. At this point, you wouldn't have to worry about it going out, but you still have to do your part. You have to keep throwing the wood on here. And you can see if I was going to be here for any duration, I would have a lot more wood stacked up here and ready to go. But that's it. It's as simple as that. You just got to kind of plan your work and work your plan. Make sure you got everything lined up. Make sure you have plenty of materials. If you don't think you have enough, by all means get more. If you think you have enough, by all means get more. You can't go wrong there. Spend the time ahead of time getting everything lined up before you actually throw a spark. And you will have success. Best of luck to you in the woods. Thanks for watching. I'm Russ Kolkman from Wetsuit Survival.